Yes. I'm very proud to be at Say What. Okay. So I would like to appreciate and thanking you all for making it to this event. This is the anti-child marriages campaign where we are saying that as young girls, you need to give us a chance. So you need to give me a chance to be who I want to be in life, to be at the level that I wish to be at. So many a times you find that girls we are not included into spaces, and just because you're a girl, but then it's high time that we change the narrative. But this narrative, we don't want to change it by only speaking. It's high time that we also take action, and this action is collaborative and collective. So iwe neni tinebas. How does that sound? Great, right? So I feel that as young girls, we need those spaces, and these spaces have to be safe and inclusive. We also need the chance. That's why we have the theme, Give Me a Chance. So the chance is me here, speaking to you as the MC and as a young girl. How does that sound? Perfect. And then also we need the right audience. And allow me to appreciate Population Services for Health, supported by the Embassy of Sweden, to say that they have given us the right audience today. Because what we are going to say is going to be heard. But we don't want you to just hear it. We want you to take action. Because we're tired of talking. How does that sound again? Clap hands for me. All right. So I'd like to really say that thank you so much for being here. I want to appreciate each and everyone who's made time to come and attend this event. And we are saying that let's say no to anti-child marriages. And it's really something that has been happening over and over again. And we feel like a lot needs to be done to address this issue. So without wasting much of your time, allow me to invite the Ambassador of Sweden, Åsa Persson, for the welcoming remarks. Let's give you a round of applause.
Welcome to the Swedish Embassy. This is our democracy gazebo where this event is taking place. So I'm Åsa Persson, the Swedish ambassador to Zimbabwe. I was just awarded a Shona name, Nyasha, is that it? Yeah? Okay, so I will do my very best to live up to that. And all protocols observed, and warm welcome to all of you who have turned up today, making time for us to launch this campaign, Give Me a Chance, and to voice these very important issues. So, this is the Embassy of Sweden, and we're very happy to be launching together with you this campaign, Preventing Child Marriages, also marking, of course, the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And at this embassy, we remain very committed to work and support programs that advance gender equality, and the anti-child campaign presents also an opportunity for us to rally and to fight child marriages so that girls can pursue their dreams and explore their full potential as equal members of society. I'm especially happy to welcome all the girls who are here today with us. Thank you so much for coming. You come from diverse backgrounds, and I believe you're very courageous to come and share your insights with us. And we have girls here, and I will try to do my very best to pronounce everything correctly, from rural Rushinga, Jimba, is that right? Yeah, UMP and Hopley, and all coming together to amplify their voices against child marriages. Well done to all of you, really, well done. And as I said, it's very important that you share your insights with us and that we can give you a platform and for you to have a voice. And this is, I think, a very, very important step in combating child marriages. It's a very harmful practice. So thank you all again for joining today. We all need to raise awareness about the negative impact of the lives of young girls in communities, in workspaces, but also at home. So I would just like to reiterate what's also Give Me a chance. And very importantly, I am a child, not a wife. And with these few remarks, let's launch the campaign. And I look very much forward to discussions today. Thank you.
That was very powerful. Let's give you another round of applause. All right, thank you so much, Ambassador, for the motivating and inspiring words. I know there's a young girl who's seated just there looking at you and would also want to be where you are today. And thank you for giving us this platform to say, give me a chance. I need to explore and fulfill my dreams as a young person. So, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting much of your time, allow me to introduce Nicole Chimanikire, who is going to be our moderator for Give Me a Chance, a dialogue. And this dialogue is going to be on young girls sharing their experiences from where they are coming from, especially in terms of early child marriages. So right about now, allow me to hand over to Nicole. Let's give her a round of applause.
Good morning. How are you? Lovely. Okay, so I'm gonna call up my panelists today, my well-experienced panelists today, and I just wanna call up Mount to come and sit with me. Mount, if you can sit with me as well. I'd like Tanya to come and sit with me as well. Where's the girl? Come on, come through. As well as give them a round of applause for this time.
Hello, hello.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Great. Absolutely great. So my name is Nicole Natsai Chimanikire. I am a youth advocate and I'm going to be your moderator for today. So I deal with child rights. I also deal with youth activist activities, right? So I'm sitting here with four beautiful girls. You can agree? Beautiful girls. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves one by one. Because Rina, I don't want to do that. It's not my job. No? Okay. So I think I'm going to start with, we can start that side. Into the rainbow.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rurimbo Topozi, not Topozi, but actually you can call me Topozi because everyone knows me as Topozi. Yeah. I am the founder of Topozi Foundation and an advocate on early child marriages, survivor of child marriages, one of the two girls who went to the Constitutional Court of Zimbabwe to challenge the government of Zimbabwe on changing the marriage law. So I am Rurimbo. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Maud or Maud, whichever way you wanna pronounce it. I'm largely known for going to university when I was 14. That was many years ago, so please I'm not 14 anymore. Currently I'm a chartered accountant and I also am very passionate about giving girls chances because I know what giving girls chances can look like.
Morning to you all. I am Magdalene Tabu I'm Tanyara Kelly Gusha from Robert Secondary, representing our Honorable Child MP, More Blessing Makina, and I'm in Book 3. Thank you.
All right, lovely. Now that we all know each other, I'm just like to say thank you so much for coming to join us, coming to participate in this conversation. And today we are talking child marriages. We're talking, give me a chance, I'm not a child. I am a child, I'm not a wife, right? If we're going to say it in Shona Ndirimwana, Kwete Muzimai, if we're going to say it in Debele, yeah, allow me to. Just give me a second. I may get this right. Ngisengo mtwana, ansimfas. I did it correct, right? Yeah. Debele is in the house. Yes. We want to acknowledge all languages, because this is not only a Shona problem or a English problem. It's a whole nation problem. So let's include all of those nationalities as well, all of those races as well, is what I'm saying, right? So just to give a brief overview of what the discussion is about today. Kurorwa kwe vanaskana vasati vashitsa makore 80. This is such a sensitive topic, a very sensitive topic. According to our cultures, according to some of our religions, it's a topic that impacts our lives as girls. We can all agree. In some cases, it seems as if there is a gender valuation going on, that a girl can be married off, but there seems to be no boys getting married off. And we question why. And then with issues of inheritance, where the boys get farms and tools and all that handed down to them, and then we ask, what are the girls getting? And then the girls are getting married off. Then we wonder why. And so today we want to ask those thrilling questions. We want to hear insights from the different experts that are here, the different people that are here. But at the most thing that we can do here is to inspire each other. It's to move each other forward, to say we don't want this anymore. How impactful it is to our health, how impactful it is to our lives. We stop our education and we put our health at risk. So I think we really need to get down to the nitty-gritties. And so I can move on to my panelists, and I will pick at random, and I will start with Ruvimbo. Now I'm going to give you a very, very nice question, because according to what you've told us, you are a survivor, so you have an inspiring story. So please give us a summary of that inspiring story. Some of us may not know, and then also tell us the decisions that you made leading up to the amazing woman that you are today.
Thank you so much. Like I said, I'm Ruvimbo Topodzi, one of the two girls who went to the Constitutional Court of Zimbabwe. What moved me, or what motivated me to do that, was I was once married at the age of 15. That was in 2012, when I was still doing my Form 3. After my father saw me walking with a boy from school, actually he was just asking me to be his girlfriend, but I refused. But we were passing by his workplace, but he said, "Ha! Look at this girl. She's not dating men. What should I do?" In his mind. Then I got home, and he came home as well. He was so angry that he saw me walking with a boy, and he said, "You should go back to where you are coming from. I saw you with a boy." And I tried to explain to him that, no, I wasn't. That boy is not my boyfriend. But he didn't give me the chance to explain. And he said, "No, you should talk to your auntie and go to where you are coming from." I did that, and I told my auntie the whole story. And then she didn't have the chance to explain as well to my father. But my father chased me away from home. Then I went to stay with this boy. Remember, I was 15 years. I didn't know anything about being a wife, being a mother. I was just a kid, still trying to do my schoolwork, trying to find who I was supposed to be in the near future. But at that time, I was now a wife to someone at the age of 15. I got pregnant after 3 months, staying with him. But in that marriage, it was so abusive. Sometimes I could sleep without eating when I was pregnant. Sometimes he could beat me to the extent of me sleeping outside. I had to go and tell my mother about the issue.
she was so concerned about what was happening to me, but then she didn't have the guts to talk to my father because he was saying, because he didn't pay lobola, so you don't have to come back home. And that made me to suffer from gender-based violence. But until then, I realized that as a person, that by that time I was 16, I realized that as a person, I need to do something, because seeing many girls who were married off by that age, like when they got to Form 4, they would say, this is my chance to be married. But I said, no, you can't be married at the age of 16 because you'll be still a child going to school. During your Form 4, you need to proceed to the university so that you can achieve something in your life and have a dream of what you want to be. Then in 2015, we went to the Constitutional Court, filed papers because the alignment of laws wasn't aligning to the constitutional papers that was saying a child is someone who is below the age of 18, but the Marriage Act was saying a girl should be married at the age of 16. Then it wasn't aligning between the two, 16 and 18. Then we had to challenge the government of Zimbabwe, saying that no, every child should be married between the age of 18, because you're saying a child is someone who is at the age of 18. So why say 16? Because if you're saying 16, that doesn't make sense. So we did that with my colleague, whose name is Loveness Mzuru. And that made me to be someone I am today, because by fighting for the rights of the girl child, I didn't know that I'll be sitting here, because from what was happening to me, I was depressed by that time, to an extent that I didn't know what to do. I tried to kill myself because my father was saying, you are not coming back because Ausatu Abisiru Aurora, the lobola is not being paid. But I stood my ground and I went to him and I told him that no, because I'm not married, I wasn't paid for, the lobola was not paid, I'm coming back home. And I got back home. So it's something that I did with passion, seeing that the girls are suffering, like you are saying, child marriages, gender-based violence, mental health issues. I didn't know that I had mental health issues by that time, because it wasn't popular like what it is now. But I started discovering that I need to do something for the girl child. Thank you.
All right. You can agree with me that is a heartwarming, heart-touching type of story. But the highlight of that whole entire thing, Chaka Challenger Court, Chaka Challenger Government. That's to me, that is such an inspiration to other girls that are here, that there's actually a way to do this. There are processes that you can follow to make sure that these types of things don't happen, right? And wow, can we just give her a round of applause for that type of a situation, eh? So we have one inspiration going to the Constitutional Court and trying to align laws, actual laws, and then we have someone who has absolutely killing it in the education game. Akachi master game. Maud, please tell me your story. You inspired girls on a different level. Tell me how you got there and what you feel like other girls can do as well if they're given the opportunity that you were given to go to school that early.
Thank you very much. And remember, your story is really inspiring. So, as I said, my name is Maud. And my story is, I was born in the rural areas. Polygamous marriage, child marriages were all over, around me. And one thing that I learned from the time that I was young was the fact that education was going to be the thing that changes my life. So I did dedicate myself to marriage because to my education, sorry. I dedicated myself to my education because I believed from a very young age that education was going to be the thing that changes my life. From the time that I was really young, I grew up witnessing domestic violence all around me from my parents, and to me, I loathed the institution of marriage, and I did not want any part in it. I did not want to be my mother. So I wanted to do everything that would allow me to not be my mother. So I read ahead when I was in school. I started my grade 1, that was around 2003.
2004, I did my grade 2. We were in the rural areas. We were walking 8Ks to school, 8Ks back home. Still, as the girl at home, you don't get away from the chores that are designed for girls according to society. So still, you come back from school, you're expected to go fetch water, you're expected to go fetch firewood, prepare food for the family. Right around the time I was about 8, because I was very dedicated to the life that I wanted to create for myself, I was reading ahead. So when I was about grade 3, I got given an exam paper for grade 4. So I was we were learning in composite classes. Our school was not really a school. It was like a farmhouse that was turned into a school. So we were given the bands for us to use as classrooms. So we would have like combined classes because we only had like 3 rooms. So it was grade 1 and 2 in one class, 3, 4, 5 in one class, 6 and 7 in the other class. So by the time I got into grade 3's class, I was given a paper for grade 4. Fortunately for me, I was very good with maths, and this was a math paper. So I actually totalized that paper. So the next term, I asked the teacher, said, look, why can't I write my exams with grade 4s? So this was second term, I got a grade 4 paper. So the third term, I said, can I please write my exams with the grade 5s? So I wrote my exams with grade 5s, and I was top of the class in grade 5. So the next year, instead of going to grade 6, instead of going to grade 4, because I was grade 3, I went to grade 6. So then I did my grade 7. Synonymous with rural life, there was no high school for me to go to. But I just finished grade 7 before I turned 10. So I was really small. This wasn't here. So I was really small and petite. And there was no way no one would marry me because I was basically a boy. So everyone in my class, my grade 7 class, sadly, got married off after grade 7 because there's nothing else for you to do. So here I am, only 10, looking like a little boy. God bless a little boy, because that saved me from a lot. Then I realized, and then this was the height of the economic meltdown, 2008. Everyone, those who had parents that could afford to send them to school in the city, because the rural areas that I was now staying at was in between Kwekwe and Gweru. So those who had parents that could afford to take them to school, they couldn't go to school anyway, the borders, because there was strikes. So people were home. So I'm okay, fine. Let me get these books and try to write my grade and try to read I had for my secondary school. My family did try to send me to school, but I only started for like a month. They didn't have money, and also then the strikes and everything. Then end of that year, I said I want to go and write Form 4. I was only 11, and then they said there's no way you can write Form 4 from grade 7. They tried to fight it, but the economy was in shambles at that time, and the registration money was not even worth a loaf of bread by the time we wrote it. Anybody who wrote in 2008 knows registration was open up to like December. People wrote in December exams, actually. So at the end of the day, my family gives in. They pay the registration fees, and I write my Form 4. I had to rewrite the next year because it didn't come out quite well. But bottom line is, in 2 years, I was done with my Form 4. Then the next year, my family then moved from the rural areas, moved to Chegutu. Then I got into a school called Fubajana High School. That's the only school that could take me. I was like 12, I think, and I was Form 5. Then after my Form 5, then got scholarships, started getting a little bit of media attention, so I could manage to get scholarships. I got scholarships for my Form 5, went to boarding for Form 6, that was Sandringham High. Then from Sandringham, I then went to University of Zimbabwe. I think that was the time I was like 14. Then by the time I was 18, I was done with my first degree, and I had all this media attention on me. I'm like, why don't I use this for good? So I say, let me go back to back home to my rural area. I just gone there, and then I see, there's rooms that we had been using. The school had been relocated from that. They were now using sheds. Let me do, and when I get to the community, say, okay, let's do something, and let me try to get this media attention diverted to you. Shock of my life. There is a grade 1 child who is a child to someone who I was in grade 3 together with. This means that person was my age mate. So the time I'm 18, they already have a 5 to 6 year old.
Mm.
And you know, the contrast between my life and
Mm.
their life was so huge.
Mm.
And it was a baby girl. And you can see that this is a cycle that will keep repeating and repeating and repeating. And part of the things that differentiated me in that girl was, while I saw the abuse around me and wanted to run away from it,
Mm.
she saw it and accepted it as a way of life.
Mm.
That is how it's supposed to be.
Mm.
While my family took a chance and paid that registration fees for me to be able, because when I wrote my O level the first time, this is embarrassing if you repeat this, I had like 2 subjects. I wrote 5, I passed 2.
Mhm.
They took a chance and I didn't even pass the first time.
Mhm.
But to me, it gave me hope to say, if I can pass 2 subjects a year after grade 7, then I have a chance at this, because the other ones were D's actually. So, that means I was almost there. So let me retry. And when I was retrying, my family took that chance again and said, you know what, let's support you, until somebody then came for my Form 5, because I guess it was too much for my family to afford. But them giving me that chance made the whole difference. Because if they hadn't paid me that less than $1 for registration fees, that dream would have just died. I probably would also have a 6-year-old somewhere.
So that's the dream. That's the dream of today. Just
Yeah.
give me a chance. You
Yes,
had
give
such a-
girls a chance.
You had such an opportunity with education.
We
that
do.
you could elevate yourself to a different plane.
Mhm.
But also, you talked about the other girl who you then met and said
Mhm.
she now had a 5 to 6 year old.
Yeah.
For me, it's the normalcy with all of this. I think in the urban areas, there's this some type of unspoken rule that these things are not happening just because they're not in your face.
Yes.
But from experiences that we're going to hear, and trust me, you're going to hear a lot of experiences, they are right in people's face. In fact, they're not even in their faces, it's in their lives.
Yes.
And wow, that your story. But wakati master game.
Thank
Wakati
you.
master game. I know for 12 and done, 18 done with university, and I'm still there. But you see, you see the things you can do when you give girls a chance to be something other than a wife. I mean, if we are developed to this level as a nation, then we should develop the girls. Because if half of us are girls and you develop us, then the country will move forward. Will it not? Do we not have economic value? That's what we're trying to say here. Now I'm going to move on to my friend Tanya Razwa, who is in. Oh, okay. Unema fans, Mukround. Unema fans. Oh, we were clapping for Mount. Before she speaks. Okay, it's okay, Mact. So, the question I'm going to ask you is, what are the challenges that are being faced by young girls in your community? Chichurikuitika mu community chako. Chirikuita kuti vana vasikana varodzwe at a young age. Vasati vasvika 18. Choose or where you're from and what happens there.
As for me, I'm from Shimba. And poverty is the major cause that is leading many young girls in our community to get involved in these early child marriages. Because this is the case of a 13-year-old girl who got forced by her parents to marry a 76-year-old man. Just in order to, they were given 80 cows. So they took their girl as a way of ending their poverty. And lack of parental guidance. I might be living with my parents may be abroad, and I'll be living with other parents that may not be my biological parents. So they won't be, guiding me with counseling. They won't be counseling. They'll be just leave me doing what I want. Yeah, so see an example. Vanongondisiya ndichita zvandinoda avandirove avanditsuri kuti zvokuita zvakashata ende noti vanongosiyira vabereki vangu, they won't be concerned about my life kuti vanongokusiya chiro kasvika mwana 6 havana basa nazvo, vanongoti chiro zvawaita noti asi mwana wangu. Tienda rape. Most girls are being involved in rape. We've got a case of a 5-year-old girl who was raped in Bindura with 2 17-year-old brothers. She was just in ECDB. And those boys persuaded her they tried to escort her to her house, and then they took advantage of her, then raped her. And this is very shocking because they took advantage of a 5-year-old girl. She was very little. And we've got another case of a 9-year-old girl from Cholocho. She's now 6 months pregnant. Just imagine, a 9-year-old. At my age, I would have many children than her.
Yeah.
And tuti ngatipiwa mukana sevana kurodzwa akusinduka kuti tichapedza namo mudzimba tichiwedzera namo kwatiri nokuti tichanopinda mudzimba atizivi. Ini ndinzi ndapinda muimba handina chandoziva, ndinotorayirwa nemubereki kunzi ita zvakati, handina pananganoti ndinganokwanisa kuchengeta murume mukuru kwandiri. Then tine pama-religious beliefs, pane vana vari kurodzwa muzvitendero. Ngoti anongoti akura hana chari kuziva, vabereki vanenge vatobhadharwa lobola kudhara kunzi mwana wenyu kana muchinge mazomuzvara achauya kwandiri
kuti wange prepayment.
Yeah, ingatova pre-planned. It's a pre-planned marriage. Inenge yaitwa navabereki kunzi mwana wenyu kana muchinge mazomuzvara kana ari musikana angosvika kana 5 kana 10, then he's getting married to that person. Iwe unenge usingatozvizivi, hauchakwanisa kuenda mberi nechikoro. So it's a lack of exposure. Vamwe vana vanenge vari rural areas, singe communities medu vamwe vana knowledge yekuti zvandikuita izvi zvakanakire chii zvakashatirei, ndikanopinda muimba ndinokwanisa kuchengeta murume here. Vamwe vakwanisa kutadza kuzvara zvakanaka, also zvara vana vane madisabilities apo unongosina kana mari kuti ukwanise kuvachengeta. Saka zvinhu zvakawandisa zvikuita mucommunities ati we need a chance as a girl child. Give us a chance. I'm a child, not a wife. I can do much better than that if you support me. Because I want to be an engineer when I grow up. I want to be somebody in the world. Not just boys are the ones who are supported. No, young girls can also be supported to reach a higher level. Thank you.
All right. Now you see, when you give someone space, just the opportunity to speak, the amount of information that she can give you who doesn't know about what exactly is going on. And I'm finding one thing about this. If you've noticed, there's this issue of economic hardship. Nyaya poverty. It's very central. And for me, it's a question of foresight. Because the way it's being explained, it seems as if hapana foresight. Like munarungoti ndamuyendesa ndapuwa mabeg zangu sugar kana kuti ndapuwa zvandapuwa and poverty yangu for now yapera. But asikufunga mberi kuti mwana wangu, she could have been a doctor, she could have been an engineer, she could have been a lawyer, she could have brought the cows, built the yard, built everything. She could have been the one to bring us the money if I just invested in her and not myself for the short term. So there's a little bit of foresight going on here with the parents, with the families, that we really need to dig deep into. But luckily, by the grace of God, we have an expert here who can tell us about the things that are happening. The things that are happening. Mrs. Magda, yes, so child marriages, we've seen, it's a result of gender inequalities. Issue value about girls versus boys. But what can be done to unite these communities so that we all condemn child marriages? Because it seems as if direction. So how can we come together, starting from the family and even community levels?
Okay, so many inspiring stories from these young ladies, and just to start by saying congratulations for coming out of this. And you're going to be role models for young women in Zimbabwe and even beyond, I'm sure. So I think from what they've been saying, I've picked that parents have a very strong role to play to avoid getting the girls into marriage. It's either they're facilitating or they're protecting. So first of all, we want parents who are responsible, who value girls as equal as boys, as children within the family. Poverty cannot be solved by marrying off your girl for one beast or two bags of sugar. It's just extending the cycle. So we just want to make sure that we go out there and ensure that we engage parents, convince them, let them know that marrying off your girl child is not a solution to poverty. We can try other avenues. can they not be taught a skill, even if there's no money to send them to school? Can they not be taught a skill, a home-based skill that they can actually develop? They can bake, they can sew, they can do other things, you know, and not just necessarily let them off to marriage. Communities as well, we have community gatekeepers within our societies. We have religious leaders, we have traditional leaders. Some of these, it's unfortunate that we find them actually facilitating and hiding such acts. We see in media, we have a prophet rapes 13-year-old girl. Some girls are actually dying within the religious shrines, etc. I met a young girl in Manicaland. She had spent 3 days in labor at a shrine. The baby had died before it came out, and they were forcing pressure on her, you know, on her stomach so that the baby could be pushed out. So when the baby was pushed out, this girl had already some infections and some green stuff was coming out, and she had a tear fistula, and she had to be rushed to get services. I see people. That is the reality in the communities. So she had to be rushed to a facility. She fortunately went into a shelter. One of the partners took her in. She had a fistula repair. And when I met her, she was in the shelter facility. And as we were departing, the mother arrived. And she said, "You're embarrassing me. Your husband wants you back. He wants you back home." Also, just to say, before she was picked by this service provider or partner to support her, they had used soap, you know, that green bar of soap, to try to stitch up the tear. So those are the community people we have, and this is the same community that we want to protect the girl child. So that she had a huge infection, the fistula. It was a huge process to get her back to being normal. And when, just as she's getting back to being herself, the mother is there.
So get her?
Go back to your husband. You're embarrassing me. We took something from him. You have to go back. And this girl was 15 years old. So fortunately, she was lucky or she was unfortunate that when she got there, I was there. And the next thing we did was to call the police.
Yes.
And they came and picked that woman. Yes. So there is a very critical role for parents. I know there are parents in here. Communities, community leaders, both religious and traditional leaders. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. We need to, she was speaking about diaspora. It's unfortunate. Most people are leaving their children in the hands of other people that may not be trustworthy, and the cycle extends. At times, the girl doesn't feel comfortable under the guardianship of someone else. They think, let me just go away and get married elsewhere. So beyond that material support that we need for our children, we need to always be present and constantly present for them, to give them the parental guidance, the parental support, and teachings. You know, experience is the best teacher. I know Maud, your daughter or your son, because of your experiences, or Ruimbo, because of your experiences, you're also going to teach hands-on your child something different. Unlike if you had flown somewhere and you're phoning, Zoom calling, WhatsApp calling, it's different from when you are there and you're teaching your children from your own experiences. I think for now I'll end here.
Wow. Just wow. And I think she makes some very good points here and some very enlightening stories being shared. I think those are a bit heavy, eh? If we're to really think about them, you get into some type of fight. But I think let me switch to the girls who are in the audience and also ask them some questions. But before we do that, so I'm a fan of the languages. I'm actually studying the languages at the University of Zimbabwe. I'm in my second year. So what I'm going to teach you is that sometimes when we have these conversations, right, we're speaking Shona, English, some people are Ndebele, but there are those of us who speak in sign language. So I'd just like to teach you how to say no to child marriages in sign language. Wouldn't that be nice? Right? Okay, so I'm going to not use the mic a little bit, or someone can hold it for me. Right? You can. Okay. So marriage, the sign for marriage is marriage. Right? Marriage. You just put this hand, this finger, marriage. It's like putting a ring on someone, right? Marriage, right? Then a child is here. Child. If you can't see, this is what I'm doing with my hands. But down here, because it's a child, it's small. Child, a child. Make sure not to put fire, eh? Please. It's child. So child, marriages. We say no. Right? We're here, right? And we do this. This is to refuse. Me, never. Right? So that is to say no. So we say no to. Don't worry about the two. It's not even there in sign language. We have different grammar. We have different grammar. We don't use to, these. They're not there. A, as, not there at all. So we just say no to child marriages. Wow. Lovely. You all got it right. You all got it right. So yeah, so in you guys is talking to other people and stuff like that. Also, try and take into account other people that don't use the languages that you use, right? So you can communicate with them better. We want this message to reach everyone. So let it reach everyone. So I'll move on to the girls in the crowd. And I'm just going to ask a question. I don't want to pick the girls specifically, but if you feel like you have an answer, you tell me, right? If we can have a roaming mic. You got the roaming mic there. Lovely. So the first question I would like to ask the girls in the audience is, what are your ambitions? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? We want to get inspired by you. What was one or papi after 5 years? What do you want to be when you grow up? Do you have anyone to answer that question? I don't go to zone shaki. Right there. Two.
Okay. My name is Kudzeka Riza. When I grow up, I want to be a journalist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, why do you want to be a journalist?
Okay.
Why do you want to be a journalist?
I just appreciate the journalists who present on ZTVs
Mm-hmm.
and other stations.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. She wants to be on camera, basically. The camera's right there, so you are on camera today. Lovely. First start. Beautiful. Anyone else who wants to answer that question? The girl over there.
First and foremost, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. My name is Karen Chikoto from Rushinga. I'm studying development studies at Bindra University, Part 3. As a development practitioner, I wanna be a development officer or a development practitioner. Why? Because I want to develop human. I want to develop something. Let me say. Start with human development. Why am I saying human development? Because everything is human approach. Everything is human centered. Exactly. So for us to have economic development, social development, political. Exactly. Give us a chance.
Okay.
That's the reason why I want to be a development practitioner.
All right. I feel like she's someone who studied the game. She's like, get me rutangira apap. So we've had a girl from, you didn't mention where you're from. She said Rushinga. Where did you say you are coming from as well?
From UMP district.
UMP district. So UMP district, Rushinga. Can we have someone from Zimba? Tell us exactly what's going on that side. Like, what do you want to be in the future? Way in the back there.
My name is Plaxidis Chiduku from Rombet Secondary School. When I grow up, I would love to be a meteorologist. I want to study weather patterns and much about geographical features. I love geography so much, so I love to study about weather patterns and tell you all about the weather.
Okay. All right. I feel like we have a full community going on here. If she's doing the development, then this one comes in and is like, journalist, today I'm going to tell you the weather. The weather has been presented by, at the back there tells us what's going to happen with the weather. I feel like we have a full thing going on, but the last, hopefully as well. Can someone tell us what they, hand straight up.
I'm Catherine Yakunu. It was unique. So mother language, Shiona. In then from 6 last year.
Okay.
maresults obva buda, but ndinoda kuita lawyer. Ndozvinhu zvandoda. But nekuda kuti maresources, mari inenge ichishayika, unombogara. Wazoda wozoendawo kana zvaita. But nichiongorora bosi ndakadzidza kwaMutare bocha kumarange. Kwakanyanya vanhu vaive vekuti maparents haana basa nevana vadiki. Hatingati havana basa nevana vadiki, but sezvamambotaura kuti economy ndo yanyanya kunetsa. But newo zvitendero zvaita sei zvakukonzeresawo. Unoona pamurume 1 vakadzi vasikana kana kuti vakadzi vanenge vari kana 6 and vanenge vane nhumbu. And vane nhumbu vanenge vachishandira murume akagara. And izvozvo ndo zvimwe zvinhu zvakandipa kuti ndikwanise kuendera mberi nechikoro, ndikwanise kuita dolo. Ndimiriro vana vevasikana because that's not fair. Vabereki vanofanira kuchengetedza vana. And ndo vane sei pamusoro pevana. Inini handigoni kutora decision because handisanda kuziva something chiri better kana chiri nani kana chiri right. So far because ndichiri mwana. Saka vabereki musatisiye muchiti anozvionera. No, kana kuti ngaangoita zvaafunga. Tinorasika. Asi iwo ukanditi ichiita ichi usaite. Ndione simba pamusoro pangu because you're my parent. And ndinokunzwisisa rather than mumwe munhu ari kunze ari outside. Saka ndimi munofanira kutichengetedza. And ndizvo zvinofanira kuitwa.
Lovely. I love her dream. She was like, no, let me stand in between. But there's a full community going on here. Like if everyone here was to achieve their goals, I think we would push a 5% increase. It would be beautiful. But also I see something that she's saying as well is the next question. What's pushing this type of situation to occur? Child marriages, communities, and that I believe is the next question that we can discuss among the girls that are here. So from Jimba, from Rushinga, anyone who'd like to answer that question.
Chimwe chikukonzeresa example senzvimbo yandogara ini. Let's say kuti unogona kungochigara nemubereki. Mubereki wako pamanoenda kana kuti kubva muimba chaiwo pekugara chaipo munenge muchishandisa kana 1 room. Mubereki wako oya neboyfriend yako. Mese muri muroom 1 imo murara mese muroom 1. Of which mubereki wako akwanisa kana kutaga kwekugara kana kuti kwekuti oenda unorara undikwaningi. Mubereki wakushaya nyadzi pavana. Vari kungotora vana sehamhenunge mwana asina basa. Ende mwana azongoonawo kuti anenge akuona zviya zvonge ndo zviri right kuita. Haazoona kuti hazvinhu zvisingaiti. Nekusaendesa vana kuchikoro chaiko. Ndo chimwe chinokonzeresa kuti unosingaende kuchikoro. Unongoswera uripo pamba. Mubereki wako achitiwo munhu wakadaro kuti anoyanga nezvikomba pamba. Iwo uripo. Hapana chinhu chaunombofunga. Unenge utongoona kuti kuroorwa kuya kutori nani. Asi kuti tikangoonawo kudzidza nekuendawo kuchikoro zvakanaka. Kuwana munhu aongoonawo zvekuita zvinhu zvakangokosha muupenyu.
Which community are you from?
Hopefully.
Okay, yeah. That is a good. Yo, we're strong. Tombochuzo muna satata. In green.
I'm Cynthia Zimbinga from UMP district. Seni zvangu inini mu community medu takatarisa zviri kunyanya kukonzera ma early child marriage. Kumaramba kwedu ku UMP kune zve god panning, kuna mazove, kunoendwa kuna mazove. Saka vabereki vari kusiya vana vavo kungoti ngavaende vonozvitsvagira mari. Zviri kunyanya kutangira kuvana vakomana. Kusaidi kwedu kuvana vakomana vasina chavati vakuziva vasati vakutogona kuzvimirirawo, vasati vatosvikawo kana 18 years vari kusiya chikoro. Vasiya chikoro chacho vabereki havasi kuvapusha kuti vaende kuchikoro, vari kungovasiya vachiti itai zvamaita. Woenda kuna mazowe, waenda kuna mazowe ikoko, vabereki vane vana vasikana vanogara kuna mazowe ikoko havasi kuendesa vana kuzvikoro. So vari kusangana vakomana vasiya zvikoro nevasikana vasina kutobvira vaziva chikoro chacho. Vasangana hapana chavanoronga. Chavanokwanisa kuita vakomana kupa mari kuvasikana kuti vafadzane iwo muviri yavo pachavo. Vopedzisira chavanenge vakukoshesa vari kwavanenge vari ikoko ibonde, vanenge vachingoita masex. Havatozivi kuti sex iyi mushure mekunge vaita sex wachawana zvirwere zvakaita sei. Hapana chavanenge vachiziva. Then zvadaro ndingangoti god panning, bush boarding nemachild yede ndokunongozviita chiri chinhu 1 UMP ndo zvakanyanyisisa izvozvo. Saka tarisai kuti kana pai vakomana vaenda vasina ruzivo, vasina kudzidza, vonosangana vakomana pamwe vakatomboenda kuchikora handiti ozochisira paform 2 like kana form 3 kuti ninangu I prefer kuenda kunotsvaga god zvemari, kugara ndiri pasi ndichiita zvekungotsvaga mari chete, achinwa doro madrugs ndoko anobva atangira ikoko. 1 vaende ikoko vanenge vasina pekuti pavari kugara pari permanent, vanenge vachigara vakasangana pakugeza chaipo vanongonogeza vangori pamwe chete. Vana mai nana baba hatingatoti mukadzi nemurume vanenge vachidanana pamwe chete kwete, asi murumewo abva samwe nemukadzi abva samwe vanongosangana otoitawo mukadzi nemurume ipapo zviri mumaziso mewana. Ende isusu kana tichinge taona vakuru kwatiri vachiita zvinhu zvakafanana neizvozvo tongotiwo zviright ende tinoita totochiwa kuti saka kana mama nadhedhi vachiita izvi so inoita offense yangu sei chirudzi ndofanira kutoteedzerawo ndotoona itori life iribo. Wapedza kuita izvozvo imari mumwe akuti achitoti shaini ndapiwa mari ndadai wapiwa mari wadai handina ruzivo, handinaendawo chikoro, handina pandokwanisa muudza kuti no zvauri kuita zvakashata, hazviiti kuti udai ukadai so unokwanisa kuwana zvakati. Ndakutoti wapiwa mari wadai neniwo saka ini nditsvagirwa kachangu chepasaidi. Ndatsvagirwa mukomana ndakutoitawo zvandoita, ndawana mari iyoyo. Musati ndiye kuda kuronga zveupenyu, handina kachandoziva about life, chandongoda kufadza inini. Ndapiwa mari iyoyo ndakuto nemadrugs nendichitotekawo ndotenga mbatya dzisina kana chimiro ndongoti ndongopfekawo. So inini sekuona kwangu vabereki watori neroo yakakura zvakanyanyisa kuUMP. Vana vanofanira kufambawo vachionawo at least ndikasvika muno muHarare ndichionawo smart rakapfekwa nevamwe behavior yavanenge vachiratidza ndokwanisa kuchiwa kuti I wish ndigozogarawo muHarare, I wish ndizopfekawo this uniform. Saka ndikadai ndokwanisa kuenda kuchikoro, kana ndasvika kuchikoro ndokwanisa kubudikira ndichiita zvinhu zvekuti mundionewo, mandiona moti ndisimudzirawo, at least ndozokwanisa kuita zvandinoda in life as a girl child. So give me a chance, I'm a child, not a wife. Thank you.
Hey, apataurwa mashoko akawanda ende makukutu chaiyo. You can tell she's explaining from experience. This is something that she is saying, it's in her face and she can articulate it well. There are a lot of issues here, specifically with the gold panning issue that is happening that side. It just needs, law enforcement just needs to make a stop to that situation. Because I understand if these guys are young, they don't have the legal capacity to be doing what they're doing. So let's stop what they're doing as well. Hey, but she also talked about exposure. It would be nice, number one, I'm suggesting, if we had districts come in and exchange with districts from here in terms of schools. We do an inter-schools. They're from Zimba, they come here in Harare, they learn at Roosevelt, they learn at whatever school that they learn at, and after 1 month or 1 term, they go back so that they can just see what other life is like. Because it seems as if there's a normalcy that's going on. That it seems as if it's normal. But there's more to life than just getting married at a young age. There is more to life than that. And I think we can go ahead to the last question here so that we can round this discussion up. I think and I think the last question I can ask is that what can you as girls, as young girls, do in your community to prevent these child marriages? Power munaro ndiripi ende munorishandisa here. I'm asking those in the crowd. What can you do? Munoita chi about this child marriages issue? My cause is muri kuwaziva. Ko solution iri papi chebo chai. Karen.
Okay. Us as young girls, what we can do, there's something called peer education, right? Peer education actually will be educating our fellow girls in the community. As we have a certain knowledge, a certain percentage of knowledge that they don't have. Why don't we just organize as Rushinga and work in the communities, work in districts and tell them about this such things. And also we can also, let's say, counseling per se. As a child, you cannot actually do that, because telling someone child marriage is like in Rushinga or in these areas, we have customized these child marriages, so it's a normal also for us. So I cannot tell someone, but no, child marriages, they are not.
They're not okay.
They
It's
are
wrong.
not. They are not okay. I cannot do that. I don't do that. Like Zema good partners, and it's Zema good partners. They value money more than education.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, we can also like report my cases to the police, social welfare. Usually, my communities, my CCW. We can refer those cases to them.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a chance we can stop these child marriages. And also, I see we should educate what parents, children, and when we are saying parents, children,
7 wachiuya nemuriwo nyama wachiti ndapiwa naToga. Ndichiti oh, saka ndaform 1 Toga ndopa akauya futi kumba ndobva asiya mari akati baba mbatsirikane ina ndaiziva kuti chii chiri kuitika. Ndobva watambira mari ye baba bva wati ndapiwa mari nani naToga. Ndakati oh, ndapa form 2 Toga ndopa akauya kuna gogo. Asvika kuna gogo ndi muningino wagogo ndobva asvika akati ndoda muzukuru wenyu. Indopa ndakaramba ndichiramba ndopa akasvika pakutanga kuburitsa mari. Akuburitsa mari ndopa ndakatanga kutambira mari yegogo handimanikidza kuti mude pamwe chete nababa. Ndopa ndatambira mari yake iye. Saka pakupedzesera ndopa ndakati ini ndinoenda kuchikoro. Ndisiyei handichada zvemukomana uyu ndisiyei ndiende kuchikoro ndiri form 2 ipapo. Ndisiyei chero ndiri dofo ndisiyei hangu ndiende kupi kuchikoro. Ndopa wakati handowakadya mari yemukomana uyu achakugadzira. Ndopa ndakazopinda mumarriage ndine 15 years ndakazosvika 16 ndakumurume. Saka zvadaro ndagara kumurume kuye ndakagara ndakarorwa January akaita kukanda mari kubvisa zvinoitwa kumusha akaita kundibvisira mari. Abvisa mari ndopa ndakaenda muna January ndine 15 years ndakazosvika 16 muna May ndakumurume ndakazonitorera chitupa ndakumurume. Saka zvadaro ndobva ndagara pandaita nhumbi yekutanga mwana akafa. Ndobva ndagara anga akutanga kundishungurudza achindishungurudza nekuti kubviswa kwaitwa pfuma iyi nemurume uyu. Baba hama dzamama wangu dzakafa. Saka baba ndo akakwanisa kudya wega pfuma hawana kuzokwanisa kudaidza hama dzamama wangu. Ndobva wadya pfuma iye nemombe nemari vega. Saka murume uyu vaakundishungurudza achiti iwe taisaone madambudziko atiri kusangana nawo mwana afa wekutanga. Dambudziko ratiri kufamba mumweya tichiudzwa hanzi mama wako ari kugunun'una vari kunyunyuta kuti handina kuwana pfuma saka muchazvionera. Ndobva ndagara murume uyu achingondishungurudza. Pataita mwana wechi2 wekutanga akafa handiti 2013 8 September. Ndobva ndazoita wechi2 2014 30 July anonzi Ishanesu chirema haafambe haagari. Ndobva taenda futi koshandirwa kumaprofita. Pataudziwa futi same problem unzi mama wenyu ari kunyunyuta. Patadzoka kumba angondishungurudza achindishungurudza. Ndobva takagara handina kubatsirika. Ndobva taita nhumbi yemwana wechi3 anonzi Blessed chirema futi. Saka zvingofamba zvichidaro ndomasichete handi kusangana nawo mukurarama. Kuti ndichiudza baba waye kuti baba murume ari kundishungurudza ndinoenda nevana iwawo kuchikoro. Ndakabereka mumwe musana mudiki wacho mukuru anenge ari pawheelchair ndichipusha ndakuitira kuti vana vangu vadzidze vaone kuzondichengetawo mangwana nekuti ndinotoshuvira kutaura chirungu asi handigona handida kuzoenda kuchikoro. Saka ndaushuvira kuti vana vangu vakaenda kuchikoro vanokwanisa kuzondichengetawo mangwana asi kuchikoro kwavo kwavanofanira kuenda handina mari yekuti ndikwanise kuvaendesa kuchikoro. Baba wacho vanobva vatina handikwanise iwe ndio utorarama zveupenyu hwemakwikwi ekuendesa vana ivavo kuchikoro. Saka zvionere ina handipo zveshuwa ndinoenda nevana vangu kuchikoro mumwe ari kumusana mumwe pawheelchair. Machallenges handiri kusangana nawo. Ndadaro murume akandituka akandirova. Ndinombofonera baba waye baba murume ari kundishungurudza ndoita sei. Baba vanokwanisa kutaura kuti musiyire vana vake uye nekuti wakaenda usina vana. Ndopandirodzoka ndoti baba vakatambira pfuma yangu vakadya ndo vakandirodza vakundisira murume vana ko ari kudaro nei. Ndangosvingirira ndiri pamurume paya achindituka achiita sei achitaura zvaanoda. Ndangoshinga ndiri pamurume. Ndochiudzawo mama musisi wamama wangu mama ndinoda kumbouya. Mama anoti handikutambire nekuti akadya pfuma ndiani ndibaba wako saka ndawazvipedzere. Hama dzangu dzandinoti hama hapana ari kukwanisa kundigamuchira nekuti ndine vana zvirema. mama situation andikusangana nawo mukurarama. Murume anondituka. Baba wacho akandizvara inini akandirodza ndiri mwana mudiki. Vanongondiharasa vanditambire semwana wavo. Saka upenyu hwakaomarara hwandiri kurarama unorwadza. Ndakungogara ngoti vana ndevangu, zvirema zvangu, ndakungogara kwekushinga kuti hapana zvekuita nekuti ndo zvandakapiwa naMwari. Saka ndinongokurudzirawo kuvanasikana kuti kuvabereki vane vanasikana vari kuenda kuchikoro, ndokurudzira kuti musarodze vana vari nemakore mashoma. Siyai vana vaende kuchikoro nekuti mangwana vana ivo vanokuchengetai. Please ndokumbirawo anenge arodza mwana ari mudiki ndaasungiswe. Ndo zvandirongokurudzira kuvabereki vane vanasikana. Ndatenda.
Ndibvunzo kuti murume wenyu ane makore mangani?
Murume wangu parizvino ane 39 years.
Akakuroora ane makore mangani?
Akandiroora aine 28. Yes, inda ndine 15 ndakazosvika 16 ndakumbuna. Parizvino ndaane 26 years.
All right. Yeah. Mtaura tichi. Hapana chaunotaura. There's nothing you can say after that. For me, that is happening in my country is something that you really get angry about. Kuti how? Where? How can you? Honestly, it seems as if we should start giving licenses so that people can give birth. Tutanga takupa license, untanga uya tombo certify kuti unogona ere kuta parenting. Tokupa license ozoenda unozvara, because these type of situations, honestly, they're just unbecoming of us as a nation, as a whole nation. And I think to round up this discussion, let's have a brief moment of inspiration. We've heard her story, but let's also hear from the people that are around me, the panelists, to say, what can we do about this child marriages issue, and how can we get it to just stop, just to put an end to it? So one by one, just short and sweet, because we don't have time. Short and sweet, but very straight to the point and very direct, that this thing just needs to stop.
Yeah. Her story is so painful. But I can say, I thought mine was more painful than hers, but I can hear kuti. But all I can say is, I'm a child, not a wife. To everyone, please, this has to stop. Our government needs to put stiffer penalties, because shakaoma.
Yeah. You can tell that as a society we're coming from a negative. Negative. We have a long way to go, and as baby girls, we adults, I don't know, an unfair card at birth, especially in low-income rural communities. Which means basically you are a source of living for this family. And as society, we have to do better. We have to do more to protect our girls.
I always say girls are not commodities. They are not commodities to take families out of poverty. So we need to value them as much as we value the boy child. Coming to our legislation, the Constitution outlaws child marriage. The Marriages Act outlaws child marriage. Implementation of those provisions. We need to keep pushing and pushing our government to enforce and ensure that all these girls that are being married before the age of 18 are taken out of these situations, and the perpetrators are brought to book. The husbands themselves, the families that are accepting, because this is not, it's not right. What future are we setting up for our children? So we just need to say no. We just need to work. Parents, communities, everyone of us has a role to play. Thank you.
Yeah, as for me, I think we should find should find youth empowerment jobs for young youths, and we have to set a gender equality between boys and girls. Every child has a right to education, I think.
All right. Okay.
I want to add one more thing, a call to the media as well. When reporting child marriages, you see a headline says, "Man beats wife 15. Man beats men kills wife 15. Let's report it as it is. It's rape. Let's start bringing stigma to this so that people know what they are doing. They are raping children. There is no wife who is 15 years old. There is no wife who is 14. It's rape. Let's report it as it is and not normalize it.
Very thrilling. I think we can just give, another round of applause for every panelist here. The discussion was thrilling. The discussion was amazing. Heartfelt in some moments. I just almost to tears at some point. Closing statements from me. I just like to say, let's take this situation seriously. No, like for real. Let's take this situation seriously. I'm looking into the camera so those in live stream can understand that we are talking to you, not just ourselves. It's a very, very big issue. And for me, I'd like to say this is a mindset. It doesn't come from nowhere. It's a mindset. Can we change our minds to accept the development, the economic development, the social development that is happening in our world? Let us not be stuck in our ways to the point of ignorance of the knowledge that is here. Let us accept the knowledge for what it is. Let's move forward. Let's develop as a nation. And it starts with this. I'm a child. I'm not a wife. Right? So thank you so much for this discussion. I will hand it over to the MC. But the last thing I'll do, as we are all standing up, not all of us, we standing up. We want to make a message. We want to make a message. So I'll teach you another phrase in sign language, which is I am a child, I'm not a wife. Right? We can all do that. So, right? So we can do it as well. I am child, not wife. I don't know why the sign of wife is that. Yes, that is the sign. I don't know. It sounds like, the husband one is this one. Yeah, because when you hold your husband, you walk like this. So he's husband. So you've learned something today, so we can say it all together again. You can put the mic down. I think we can do this together. I am child, not wife. Thank you so much.
1, 2. All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you so much. I'd like to appreciate the panelists. Let's give them another round of applause. So, as I was sitting there, last week I went to Hopley. You know of Hopley, right? And we were doing what's called a rapid assessment because we have this project that we're doing to assist young girls. So when we got there, we're targeting young girls who have been affected by sexual gender-based violence. You know what I saw? There were 70 young girls. It's either she was heavily pregnant or she had a child. Right in that room. So I met the other one who was just 14 years old. And she had a 3-week-old baby. She came with the baby. And she was telling me that she had an operation. So I was asking her, you had an operation and you showed up for this risk assessment and your baby is just 3 weeks old. Why? She looked at me and said, Sisi vangu, operation irikurwadza, but ndine nzara. That was heartbreaking. And I thought that as young girls, we are being driven into situations which sometimes make us very vulnerable. I asked her where the husband is. What does he do? Nothing. Where are your parents? They are there. What are they saying? Nothing. So tukwenda kupi. Right. So I know this has been, you feel like, hey, it's really tense in here. You all can agree, right? So right about now, allow me to call upon a very beautiful lady. Like chimbocheko mbotaris or mashireko ko pangwendi. Pangwendi we foot. All right. A very beautiful lady who's going to warm us up. She is one of the person that's helping us to drive the agenda in terms of saying no to child marriages. and with our theme, Give Me a Chance. So let's give it up for Felinandi.
Hi. That was heartbreaking and very informative at the same time. I'm also a victim of child marriages. Hey, I got married when I was 16. Well, I got out. That's why I'm here. But it took me 15 years to find my voice again and to be able to sing. And it was not easy. I was beaten, I was talked about, a lot of things happened. But eventually, I found my voice, I got out, and here I am. So, but it's a long story for another day. So this is a good thing, and to all my girls, you can be anything you want to be. When I started singing, I was 27. That was 2 years ago. Yeah? I was told right in my face that you're too old. You're a mother. Who's going to listen to a mother in Zimbabwe? But I'll tell you this. I'm one of the most sought after female artists in Zimbabwe 2 years later. So it's possible. All right, so we wrote a song that talks about I'm a child, I'm not a wife. So you guys, just clap your hands, help us sing it, yeah? Great, let's go. All right, let's go. Dinera mangwanara kacheka, dinera mangwanara karongeka, dinera mangwanara kacheka, dinera mangwanara karongeka. Ah, 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 ah. I'm not a wife, ndiri mwana sikana. Dipengu, ndiri mwana sikana. I am a child, I'm not a wife, ndiri mwana sikana. Dipei mukana. Dinera mangwanara kacheka, dinera mangwanara karongeka, dinera mangwanara kacheka, dinera mangwanara karongeka. Ah, 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 ah. Vabereki, vema, tichengetedze iwo. I am a child, I'm not a wife. I'm not a wife. Tichengetedze iwo. I am a child, I'm not a wife. I'm not a wife. Tichengetedze iwo. Oh. Dinera mangwanara kacheka, dinera mangwanara karongeka, dinera mangwanara kacheka, dinera mangwanara karongeka. Ah, 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 ah. Thank you so much.
All right, that was amazing, right? Let's give you a round of applause again. So I'm being reminded that time. But anyways, I would love to be here the whole day so that Feli can, sweep us away with her sweet music. Anyways, thank you so much, Feli, for that. And moving on, allow me to introduce Dr. Noah Taruberekera, the Executive Director of Population Solutions for Health, to give us an overview of the Give Me a Chance anti-child marriage campaign. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Can we take just a few seconds of silence? good. This is because the stories that we have heard are just are heavy. This is a society that, if I can describe it, it's with an affinity for self-destruction, and that's not in our culture. You can all agree. Is this better? I sound a little bit like Mambo Duterere now. So, Ambassador Person, Stacy Lushina, PSI country representative, friends and colleagues, the girls especially, all protocols observed. So Population Solutions for Health and our partner PSI are very grateful to the Swedish Embassy for this opportunity to address this malay in our community. The campaign that we are on is a result of months of insight gathering to understand what is really driving this. And in trying to get those insights, we spoke to so many stakeholders. We spoke to young girls, some of those are in here. We spoke to older women. We also spoke to gatekeepers in our communities. Particularly in those communities with high prevalence for child marriages. From these engagements, what we learned is that there's a stark gender inequality and social norms that perpetuate this practice that we're trying to address. We came across parents who are marrying off their daughters, as we had through the panel, and there's so many stories that our girls told us about. We also learned that there are parents out there that are marrying off their daughters for as little as a bag of sugar. I want to pause there. I don't know if you can hear me. Marrying a daughter for a bag of sugar. Is that normal? I will leave you to judge that. And some parents who believe that their daughters have no say in who they can marry or when they can get married. This is the stories that we were hearing. These insights helped us to develop the Give Me a Chance campaign that we see around us. And this is the campaign that we are launching today. Give Me a Chance campaign puts girls at the forefront to appeal to parents, to appeal to communities, to give them a chance to realize their dreams. The campaign shows that a girl child can be so much more if given a chance. She can be a chartered accountant. We had the story. By the way, I heard the story about this 14-year-old going to university. I was really impressed to see her speak today. Very inspiring. They can be a doctor, they can be mechanics, they can be development officers, they can be lawyers. We had all the aspirations that the girls were sharing with us this morning. And we had also from, just mentioned Maud, Memory, and so many of the girls that spoke. But at this moment, let me take this opportunity to share with you a video. Now I know part of this video is a story that's already been told by Melody. But Melody, you can just stand up again for the audience to see you again. The story, please go ahead and sit down. The story from Melody is moving. And the video that we're going to see is just retelling the account that she shared with us already. I hope it will just communicate this message that there's urgency to this, that we need to get together as stakeholders and communities and do something about this. So without further ado, I would ask the team to show the video.
In Zimbabwe, 1 in 3 girls under the age of 18 is married. This is their story.
Ndinonzi Melody Gatakata. Ndine makore 26. Ndinobva kumutawatawa ku-UMP, kuvillage rokwakatsande village. Chakaitika kuti abereki vangu andirodze ndine 15 years. Nenyaya yekugara nekushupika muri pamba ndo zvakakonzeresa kuti ndirodziwe nyaya yekuda kudya kwevabereki. 2006 kwakashaika mama, taendeswa kuchikoro, murume akandiroora inini. Aiuya kumba ndiri grade 7 achisira baba wangu mari. Ndatopedza form 2 kuti ndichienda form 3. Ndopa akauya kuna gogo akati musikana uyu ndiri kumuda mbuya. Ndobva gogo pawazonditsanangurira kuti ndozvataurwa nani nemukomana uyu. Ndakaramba. Ndopa ndakati handichada, ini ndodaenda kuchikoro. Ndopa wandichikidzira wakati manje mari yangu uchidya yemukomana uyu anokugadzira. Ndopa ndakasvika pakuzobvuma. Ndobva ndazorori.
Like every young girl, Melody had dreams for her future. Sadly, her childhood was cut short by marriage and her life changed forever. Girls that are married off early often experience complications with early pregnancy, abuse from their husbands, and isolation from their family and friends.
Saka zvakazoitika ndakaita nhumbu. Ndobva ndasununguka mwana wangu wekutanga akashaika. Ndobva tagara. Ndopa ndakazotakura futi nhumbu yemwana wangu wechi2. Ndobva auya chirema izvozvo haafambi haagari. Ndopa ndakaita futi nhumbu yemwana wechi3. Mwana wechi3 chirema haagari. Chakazondirwadza inini ndechekuti ndaita vana vangu ava, murume uya anga asingazvigamuchiri. Pavanga vachiri kuberekeka ndaibereka mumwe mwana kumusana, mumwe ndomuisa padumbu, ndichienda kuskeo ndiri ndega. Baba wevana havakwanisi kundibatsira kutakura vana vacho, ndinoenda kuchikoro nevana vangu. Asi pamashure apo waindituka, wakanwa doro, vanenge vachindituka kuti kuchikoro kwauri kuenda ikoko uri kuenda kunohura, wakasiya vana vechikoro uri kudi kudzoka kumba. Pandakatanga kuenda nevana kuchikoro zvaindirwadza, asi pari zvino ndatojaira. Ndairwadziwa nemiri wese, asi pari zvino ndangozvitambira.
Every girl deserves a life before she's a wife. Meet Maud, an inspiration who shows us that education is more important than marriage for both young girls and their communities.
Zita rangu ndinonzi Maud Chifamba, ndinomusikana nemakore 25 ekuberekwa. Ndinogara muZimbabwe ndichishanda muno muZimbabwe. Kubasa ndiri chartered accountant. Kwandaigara zvaitongonzwisisiwa kuti vanasikana chavo chavanenge vachinyanya kudzidzira kudzidza kuti vangagadzirisa sei pamusha, how to be good mothers, good wives. Asi vasikomana ndo vaikurudzirwa kunzi vaende kuchikoro vagowanawo mabasa anowanisa chauviri. So inini kudzidza kwandakaita kwakaita kuti ndikwanise kuenjoya mabenefits ekuti chero ndiri musikana ndinokwanisawo kuwana mukana inowanikwa nevakomana. Ndakazokwanisa kugraduata nedegree rangu ndine 18 years.
Ndaida kuenda kuchikoro, chero ndakaita hangu dofo. Ndaitsvaga hangu kana basa remumba ndozviriritira hangu. Nekuitawo maproject tiri pamba ipapo, tichiita maproject ekuti tichiwana kubatsirikana nababa wacho. Asi zvakaramba.
Inini chandinongoudza vana vasikana vanenge vachichuza vega kuti vanoda kuenda kunoroorwa ndechekuti kune zvakawanda zvaunokwanisa kuita muupenyu usati wave mukadzi wemunhu. Kana uri mudiki, kurudziro yangu ndeyekuti gadzirisa ramangwana rako, chimbofokasa pachikoro chako, wombozvipa kuti ukwanise kuva munhu anokwanisa kuzviriritira ega.
Tinongokurudzira kuti vanasikana musaroorwe muri vana vadiki. Unosangana nemachallenges akawanda mukurarama kwako. Ini nangu hapana zvazvinondipa nekuti zvandiri kusangana nazvo zvikaoma. Saka ndinongokurudzira kuvanasikana kuti unozoroorwa hako wakura, usamhanyire kuroorwa uri mwana mudiki.
A very good morning to you all. We are sorry we came a bit late. We had an emergency meeting with the permanent secretary, but all the same, we are happy to be here. As alluded to, my name is Vaida Mashangwa, the director responsible. The director responsible for strategic policy planning, monitoring and evaluation in the ministry. I'm representing the Honorable Minister, Dr. Stembiso Gigi Nyoni, who could not make it to this important event because of other pressing work commitments. Actually, she's outside Harare. And also, the permanent secretary could not also join us. He had a scheduled meeting with the Parliament of Zimbabwe. So they've sent me, and today I'll be in the Honorable Minister's shoes. Before I read the Honorable Minister's speech, may I acknowledge the Director of Ceremonies. May I also acknowledge the presence of the Ambassador of Sweden as a person. May I also acknowledge the representatives from the Swedish Embassy, and also representatives from the PSI and PSH, and also representatives of the UN agencies, senior government officials here present, child parliamentarians, development partners, our civil society organizations representatives also here, and also the media fraternity, and also may I acknowledge the presence of our girls that are gathered here today, ladies and gentlemen. Before I read the speech, may I also say, I think it's a bit high. May I also say that as a representative of the Honorable Minister, thank you. As a representative of the Honorable Minister, may I reiterate that the ministry is also excited to be part of this important initiative that is the anti-marriage campaign, Give Me a Chance. I'm a child and not a wife. May I also say that I was also touched by the heart-rendering stories that we heard today, and the ministry is in all this. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to read the Honorable Minister's speech as it is. I'm humbly honored to be with you today as we come together in the fight against this plague of child marriages and harmful practices. A social ill which negatively affects the socio-economic development of children, especially girls. We are gathered here to witness the unveiling of an anti-child marriages campaign that has been developed by Population Solutions for Health with funding from the Embassy of Sweden. This campaign dovetails well with the costed implementation plan for the Zimbabwe National Action Plan and Communication Strategy on Ending Child Marriage, a strategic document that seeks to guide the country on possible interventions on ending child marriages. This campaign, ladies and gentlemen, comes at a time when the nation is beginning to realize the gravity and extent of child marriages in Zimbabwe. Recent events in Zimbabwe, such as the death of a 12-year-old girl who died giving birth in Masvingo, the 9-year-old who gave birth in Bulawayo, and more recently the Bulawayo Bindura girl who was sexually abused by two 17-year-olds, have brought the shock of the current state of child marriages in Zimbabwe to the fore. And there is therefore need for action. Ladies and gentlemen, child marriages are detrimental to children and lead to domestic violence, health problems, complications during birth, and even death amongst the many detrimental effects these children face. According to UNICEF, Zimbabwe is ranked number 41 globally on countries where children marry before turning 18, and is amongst the 20 countries with high prevalence rate of child marriages in Africa. Statistics according to the Multi-Indicator Cluster Survey 2019 also indicates that 34% of girls in Zimbabwe marry before they reach the age of 18, and 7% of these girls are married before they turn 15. Mashonaland syndrome, in particular, is a child marriage prevalence rate of 52%. Ladies and gentlemen, these high figures are not just numbers, but they signify the proportion of the future generation whose life has been shattered as a result of child marriage. Distinct guests, ladies and gentlemen, the drivers of child marriage have been identified, and key among them are poverty, religion, culture, and traditions. Poverty influences the high rates of child marriages in Zimbabwe. Marrying off young girls is common in rural areas, farming and mining communities, where the educational, social, and economic prospects for girls are usually very limited, which is why I'm glad this campaign will aim to be aspirational in nature and aim to give her a chance. According to the Zimbabwe Demographic and Health Survey of 2016, 60% of households in Zimbabwe are child-headed. This constitutes an already vulnerable group as they lack education and financial independence. About 35.4% of those children are orphans, and this perpetuates their vulnerability to child marriages. Many of these children are susceptible to early marriages as they view it as a way out of their predicament. Young girls are lured by older men whose economic fate looks more favorable than theirs. But it is unfortunate that it is the future of such girls that is put at stake. They rely on false hope and end up in a vicious cycle of poverty as they barely make ends meet. Some of our cultural values have resulted in sharp gender inequalities and put women and girls at a disadvantage and compromising position, which increases their vulnerability. Practices such as kuripirangozi, atonement marriages, kuzvarira, arranged marriages, and chigadzamapiwa, where a niece is brought in to bear children for her aunt, which perpetuate child marriages, as it is the girl child who is expected to fulfill all these cultural practices. Nobody would want to be put in such a situation, as it is degrading. While traditions are vital to our country in many ways, we need to uphold positive values of tradition and do away with the negative practices. Let us organize ourselves to fight the retrogressive and degrading practices leading to child marriages. Our focus should be on prospects for a better and bright future for the girl child. Together, we should change traditions to embrace empowerment and equality instead of domination, restriction, and exploitation in order to give girls, their families, and our societies a better future. It is disheartening, ladies and gentlemen, to note that some religious practices among certain sects are fueling child marriages in Zimbabwe. While certain biblical instructions may be well-meaning, often flawed interpretations of religious laws stand in the way of further progress on child empowerment. We condemn, in the strongest sense, such practices which stand on the way of the girl child empowerment. Girls need to be given an opportunity to make their own choices, and when they are given such an opportunity, they have the potential to make good choices. They can choose to stay in a school, when to marry, and how many children to bear. Child marriages, ladies and gentlemen, deprives the girl child from realizing their full potential. They often drop out of school and do not have the opportunity to take on vocational skills or income-generating projects. In terms of health, complications of pregnancy and childbirth are a leading cause of death among adolescent girls from the ages of 15 to 19. These health consequences are too serious to ignore. Girls who marry early are more likely to be affected by HIV. They do not have the power to reject unwanted sex, neither can they negotiate for safer sex, thereby putting them at a higher risk of contracting HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases. Studies have shown that girls who marry young are more likely to be poor and will stay poor. Therefore, delaying marriage by giving her a chance to remain in school has the effect of enabling girls to improve their education, health, and employment opportunities, which in turn helps to break the cycles of poverty that passes from generation to generation. In conclusion, I want to highlight that every child marriage is a tragedy for the girl, for her children, and for her country's development. It is not only about changing laws, but about changing the attitudes of people and communities around the worth of girls and their contribution to society. We are all accountable for what is happening to these girls, and unless we take action, we are consciously forfeiting our responsibility. With these remarks, I officially launch the Give Her a Chance campaign, national campaign against child marriages. I thank you.
One, two. All right, let's give you a round of applause again as she takes a seat. Okay, so I think we all agree that that was powerful, right? And especially the fact that she was saying that girls should be given an opportunity. So we are kindly appealing to you as the young girls. I don't know if you can hear me. Miss Vida. Sorry, just a minute. So we are saying that in your speech you mentioned that young girls, we should be given an opportunity. So we are appealing to you as the girls here today that we also deserve a seat at the table where decisions are made, because these decisions are affecting us. So at the end of the day, you need to include us, so that whenever you make your decisions that affect our health, our social welfare, you need also to consider that we have a say in all this. So if you can help us pass on the message to the minister that decisions that affect us should be made by us. Thank you. All right. So moving on with the program, you know, when my mom is in her kitchen, she's just singing this song, but I'm not going to sing it because I'm a bad singer. And I always ask her that, why is it that almost your playlist, you've got all these songs? And she always says that there's something about happiness. Sometimes what brings happiness in your life and in my life is different. So when I listen to this music, it soothes my heart. So I'm so glad that we have that one person that my mom loves listening to. So ladies and gentlemen, hi, I'm happy. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome Mambo Duterere. Let's give him a round of applause.
Saitambodzibata dzine chinhu kuzasi. Thank you so much. Can you be semagras? Thank you. Glad to be pamberi pevanhu vaka saendaenda pane nyaya yandibata ndanjudza vafana vangu 2008 ndo pandakanyora form 4. I think I was 16 by then, but handina hangu chandakabuda nacho. So I was so touched kunzwa kuti mwanasikana takanyora same bepa iye ane 11 years. He didn't die a temple, but havana chandakaita sei. Izvozvo zvatondiinspire too much. Handanyara zinga aripi mwana aripi 2008 iyo ndo yatakanyora form 4 isu. Uri kuona bepa remitsiri ndangopushira parutiva parakana wani chandaiziva. Thank you so much. Zogara pamashure mushana nyangwe ingave opoza mushana. So yandanchataura my MC inini ndobva kuposton muchandiregerera. So I think ndo kwazvinonyanyoitwa. So ndoita kunge ndaikuonera vamwe vangu too much, but nokutaura since mati muchatipa time vamwewo tichazoitawo kutaurira because I can't comment manje kuzvinhu zvandisingazivi. Saka vari kuvanda nekereke vachibhinya pwere taiti chibharo. Thank you so much. Nyangwe ingave nhamo ngaisasvika pakuchekeresa mhuri. Nyangwe urombo ngausasvika pakuchekeresa pwere. Unziro rwamwana rorwandiwanewo dzinorima dzatombunyikidzwa kodzero dzemwana sikana mazvimana. Unobira ramangwana vana ravebhinda uko muzvimana. Vazhinji vanovhira mumaoko ana mbuya nyamukuta chisarai. Were zvaikonai ndaiko barase ipwere neniwo ndiri pwere chisarai. Ndakundigana gamuchira maplayer song isiriyo. Maplayer mira maplayer song isiriyo pamberi paambassador imwe yandakupa mai manje. Sorry even. Iyi ndo yatakanogadzirisa pane yamakati tigadzirisa. One works first. muchavaregerera henyu. Takazonogadzirisa pai pamama titigadzirisa. Saka ivo vanga vasina iyoyo. Handi dzakafanana nadzo handi. Takutopedza. Mogona kutangira pamberi mishana. Nyangwe ingave nhamo ngaisasvika. Tangidzai ndindoda kuimba musaware nini. Zvinhu zvinowanzoitika especially kana tiri kukereke. Noziva here kuti panenge pauda kutaurwa nhau dziri effective kuvanhu. Zvaita. Ridzai yamam chiridza wamam. No, ridzai yamam chiridza iyo iripo. Ridzai yepa laptop. Izvo hasi kutorira. Yeah, isiro yayo final. Nyangwe ingave nhamo ngaisasvika pakuchekeresa mhuri. Nyangwe urombo ngausasvika pakuchekeresa kwere. Unziro rwamwana rorwandiwanewo dzinorima. Dzatombunyikidzwa kodzero dzemwana sikana mazvimana. Umubira ramangwana vana rave mbinda uko muzvimana. Vazhinji vanovira mumaoko ana mbuya nyamukuta chisarai. Were zvaikuonai ndaiko baraze ipwere neniwo ndiri pwere chisarai. Ndakundikana nekumakereke matinyanyira matiuraira ramangwana rake Mario. Angadai ari dhokotera ari kweta kurukota paramende. Inoenda mberi ichiti achamiririra pwere ndiani. Dzinodzikinurwa rini uye nani. Chandisingagone kunyarara kana modya pwere kana modya niyo nyangwe dzisina makushe. Ende hamumbofamba ndinyaradza mugabhinya pwere muchivanda nekereke. Manuwere ati ndikutsiurei zvokubhinya pwere muchivanda nekereke. Denga muchaita rekugugula nyakubhinya pwere muchivanda nekereke. Arora MC ozotikumbira vatisire the final song. Because ndoine bhivhire kuti mupeiwa mugana mwanasikana mupe. Mugana mwanasikana. Mupe mugana mwanasikana mupe. Takaisota Patricia yakaita bo. Thank you so much.
All right, let's give them a round of applause as they take their seats. Aiwa tigadzirisirewo ipapo. MC yatotsamu program yakutombomira. Gadzirisai. Anditi. All right. So as the young girls, you just want to do a mini exercise, right? Takutopedza. Ndikuona pane vari kungotarisa uku. Ndizvozvo. Zvakutoita. So we want to do a mini exercise. So our theme is give me a chance. I'm a child, not a wife. So if I say give me a chance, you say I'm a child, not a wife, right? So we need that energy, right? Because we mean it. We are not joking. This is serious. Anditi. All right. So, give me a chance. No, let's do it. Let's do it again. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. No, let's stand up. You're not doing it correctly. Let's stand up. All right. So we want to do one take, right? Because time and it. So I got one, but Twitter is in the punch. Otherwise, if you don't, remember I'm the MC. I'm in charge, right? I'm the boss. So if you don't do it right, the program is chapera tagamir. And it. Okay. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. All right. Thank you so much for that. All right. So I'd like to thank Mambo Duterere and his wife. That was powerful. That was beautiful. Although pani vasabutage, but it's changed. So we have refreshments. Don't you forget. Usazoyende usna kujika iso shilapesho. So we have refreshments and also pane mambondi kwenya vakati Ferdinand and Chamon mamboduterere vachaenda futi kopikicha. Don't worry. After this, we're also going to have a photo session so that Mozo post talk about WhatsApp. We were there, you know, current what and all. So right about now, allow me to call the Deputy Ambassador Betole and Miss Vida to lead us outside where we'll cut the ribbon to unveil the anti-child marriages campaign. So let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much. I think my task is very easy. It's just to welcome you all and invite you to very short walk to the other side to cut the ribbon and then come back again. Thank you very much.
All right, so we may all follow.
Hakuna murudo munongoda happy kunge gafa part hamudi mputsu kana uppercut kana makonana usambata shot akakuva wafambisa na use paparazzi because tinoda kushamba zvavanoita so haiwa kumagafa azviko tikavafumura vanoita bo ngavasatambire patiri no tinoda rudo murudo kwete chikudo murudo dai mambomira chikudo murudo kudo murudo kwete chikudo murudo sandiregedzere nyundo murudo.
You walk it like you're the king, right? Rimezua, Uchimurova, she's my sister, so tell me, mister, did you ever
Bage.
Rudo
Complex music.
Let's kindly fill in the register there and go for our refreshments. Allow me to excuse Miss Vida, our honorable, and yes, you can go straight to our refreshments. Yes, so our hands we are. So the rest of the team, we can go fill in the register, then come back, wash our hands there, and get our food.